Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fire Emblem Hector Hard Mode, Part 9. Today with me, we have Hylian Air Force.
Hello.
Another part.
We have Leon Cord.
I'm a person.
Yeah, we have Tiffany Chan, 123. Are you gonna say hi? Seems not. And we have Unholy Screaming.
Hi, I exist.
So anyway, now that we got a boat to the Dread Isles, we're just going to take a long journey across the sea to get there. But because it's a Fire Emblem game, we can't go on a boat level without having to deal with some sort of shit. So right now we've got to deal with the Black Fang and, you know, all that jazz. But it's actually kind of interesting for Hector Hard Mode because we get to see what was going on with him and Lynn during when Eliwood and Vargas were talking, and we actually learned quite a bit about Hector in this bit.
Oh wow, I actually haven't. I've played a little bit of Blazing Sword, but I haven't actually gotten to this part, so I'm actually really excited to see this.
Yeah, we just find out like what happened to Hector, and like her and Lynn have sort of a bonding moment, sort of. Because this, again, Hector Hard Mode is from his perspective, so we find out all the behind-the-scenes stuff. When Eliwood's off talking to other people, we found out what Hector was doing. Turns out he was having a bit of alone time with Lynn.
Oh my.
My. Ship it.
That's what she said.
Oh, so you're
I
Lynn
wonder-
Hector.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I certainly like them together more than I like her and Eliwood together.
Ah, fair enough. I'm really indifferent to any and all Lynn ships. I don't mind who she's with. I'm generally Raph, but I also like Eliwood, and I don't mind Hector. Yeah, you're shipping characters. It's not gonna offend anyone.
Is it alright if I ship them with myself?
If you like.
Hey.
If only Mark was actually playable.
Yeah, no. If only Mark was Robin before Robin was Robin.
We gotta wait for the remake.
Well, they might do that in the remake,
yeah.
considering the track record, but we'll have to wait and see.
I would totally like to see what they could come up with for Mark. Like, one thing I would definitely like is if, like, Mark could actually being Mark could actually give you more than like 2 light users or dark users.
So what, you could class Mark into one of the classes, starting classes, and you get an extra unit?
Yeah, like,
That could
like
help because like Canis is the only dark mage,
Because-
and Lucius, aside from
and
Sarah, when she
technically you
promotes
don't even have to. Yeah, and technically you don't even have to get You don't even have to get Canis. You could just skip chat 16 or 17x depending on which mode you're playing.
Yeah, you
don't even have to get him.
Yeah, he's technically a bonus character. Because you don't have to accept the side quest.
Blazing Knight, I have a question.
Yeah. By the way, if you want to ask a question, please don't ask me, can I ask a question? Just ask it.
Oh, okay.
Respectful on your channel or anything. But anyways, this is a very selfish question because I just want someone else to share my opinion. But between Xander and Ryoma, who do you think would win in terms of Fire Emblem canon battle? Not in terms of unit-based battling, but in canon story. If they fought each other alone, who do you think would win?
Xander. Xander is all force.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same opinion. Xander would probably win, only because I reckon he's been fighting for longer just because of the type of place Nor is and stuff he's had to go through. So I reckon Xander has the upper hand, plus he's on a horse and stuff like that, so he has that. He has the mobility, he has just another thing to help him out. Whereas the Ryoma, while he's definitely very skillful, I don't think would be able to last long. Like, I reckon it'll be a match of endurance, and Xander would have the endurance.
Yeah, because like I recently You can go.
If Fire Emblem weren't like statistics based, I think the strongest classes would be Wyvern units, because Wyverns on the whole are bigger than horses, and they can fight themselves alongside. And because most Wyvern units are lance units, they can fight like and they're like basically much bigger than horses and even Pegasi units. They just tear through. They would tear through armies of foot soldiers
they would
like
eat them.
nothing.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like my reasoning for this is I actually made a video about this recently, but I made a video about it because like I was saying like why I think Xander would beat Ryoma is because in the end of both Conquest, and both Conquest and Birthright, Corrin eventually fights his brothers when he's ready. He receives the Rainbow Sage's power, and there's some dialogue and text in there that I found really interesting. Because when Corrin beats Xander, he comes in there and he's like, dude, I would have never beaten you if I fought you seriously. And the thing is, he had Azura right next to him the whole time when he was there. So does he mean that he couldn't beat him even when he had people's help like Azura and everyone else when fighting Xander? Or does he mean just him himself? And personally, I feel like he was saying that me with Azura, we could not tag team you and beat you if you fought us seriously. But the entire time with Ryoma, Corrin was there pretty much solo. He didn't have any help. And not to mention, Garen commanded him to kill Ryoma right then and there. And if Xander was there helping him, I feel like he would object, even though sometimes he's underplayed and doesn't do the things he normally says he would do. But at the same time, at this entire chapter, he was doing it, saying, no, don't do that. So I really do feel like he wasn't there. None of the other siblings was. So I really feel like while they could have helped Corrin, I don't feel like they were actually physically there fighting. So that's kind of just like the logic I had to why they would be using that, using Corrin as a medium and showing off the difference between both of them. It could just be their fighting styles are both differently and that the Norian fighting style is superior to the Hoshin fighting style, but if that is the case, then that just gives more proof that Xander would still win, so, you know, that's just
Well, it's
my
hard to
kind
say
of...
which fighting style is superior. I mean, they're all different, but it's just...
I mean, when you think about it from an objective standpoint, there are a few tactical flaws in, like, feudal Japanese fighting style compared to feudal European fighting style.
Well, yeah, there's the main thing that the katana is actually a really flimsy sword. It's not meant to clash blades. It's meant to be one strike, one kill, because they'll break easily.
Not to mention that lances and pikes are superior to naginata in almost every way, especially in terms of length.
Yeah, I just like, because every time I talk about it with anyone, they're just like, no, Ryoma would win, and I'm just like, I'm pretty sure you're talking about Ryoma in the actual game, not in canon, but whatever.
Well, even in the actual game, I think Xander has the advantage, generally.
The only
another thing
advantage
about
that Ryoma actually has is speed.
Speed and
That's
avoid.
the only advantage.
Yeah, speed and avoid, because when you actually... Because I'm playing through Conquest again, and when I was at the start, one thing I noticed is that, like, Xander did a fuck ton of damage and didn't take much damage from Ryoma, but Ryoma did, like, piss poor, but he was always doubling, so it's just a case of if Ryoma can dodge long enough, he'll win, but the moment he gets hit, he's out.
Yeah.
Xander charged Ryoma and then critted, Ryoma would die immediately.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I don't think he's that...
Like,
Because he does not
like-
have that much defense.
I think that too, if the roles were reversed and Xander was the one going up against Ryoma's dad in chapter 5 of the beginning part.
Forget
I
his
think
name.
that Xander might have eventually beaten him and not like died like Ryoma did.
I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember his name. That's bothering me for some reason.
Ryoma's dad?
Yeah,
Sumeragi?
his
The
name.
king
Sumeragi.
of
Oh yeah, Sumeragi. Sumeragi,
I knew it was an SU name,
I
but
remember that too.
But I think that Xander probably would have beaten Sumeragi
It
because
varies.
Sumeragi wasn't doing that much damage to it. I don't think.
Yeah, well, again, it varies.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, there's so many factors to consider when discussing something like that, especially when you have to consider, do you consider it more story based or do you go in terms of the game mechanics?
I understand what
Like-
you mean.
Story basis, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, well, with story based, there's so much you can argue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the general consensus is that Xander would win from story and objective viewpoint.
Yeah. Lorena's
Alright.
looking a little low there.
Yeah, but that's because, this mission, like, in particular, it's, you notice, some chapters in Hector Hard Mode, like, they're naturally harder because it's hard mode. But some, it's like you really notice the jump in difficulty, and this is one of them, because the enemy just come, like, they bum rush you so bad at the beginning. You really gotta wait out the first 5 turns and hope to God you don't get destroyed.
One of the problems with Hector mode sometimes is that, like, positioning is sometimes different. Like, in Eluid mode, everyone else is, like, lower down in the middle of the ship, not on the bow.
Yeah, again, they're more aggressive this time, and they throw a lot at you. But, this is where you've really got to focus on defense, and why Hector and Oswin are so good for this mode, because they're just packing it on. I mean, granted, there are Dark Mages to fight, but, they're really slow. Enemies in general in Fire Emblem 7 are really slow. And 6, if I remember, too.
Yeah, and let's be honest here, there's not a lot of people who can take on Hector or Oswin in this game.
True. Well, unless they have a tone.
Basically, like, Hector, like, game.
Like, if you...
Yeah?
Things like lighting up, but I can't hear her for some reason.
Must be an internet issue. There's always something. So for these recording sessions, there's always something going wrong. But, at least Urk's here to help out. Best to have a lot of ranged fighters, because they will a lot of archers and mages will be attacking you.
That's one of the things. If you're, like, for Hector mode, it's very easy to get Jermai's Pale Flower of Darkness, because there's a lot more magic enemies, and magic enemies you want means you want magic tanks. Like, all the magic fighters, as well as Pegasus Knights.
Especially
which means you're more likely to get Jermai's Pale Flower of Darkness compared to, in Eluid's mode, it's a whole lot easier to get Kenneth's.
Get what you mean. By the way, Tiffany, what were you saying? I don't feel bad because we're taking up so much of, like, the recording, and we're not really letting any others talk. So, Tiffany, you can say what you wanted to say.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh god, I think the internet's bad on Tiffany's end. This is gonna be awkward.
Because I don't want to talk over other people, because everyone deserves to talk in these recordings, not just like 2 or 3 people. I feel bad.
Some talk more than others in general when it comes to recording session, and Candace got a crit.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was a clutch crit.
Yeah, 4 again. People in this game love Fire Emblem 4.
Clanging 3.
Here we go. And dead.
Oh wow, it's been double the Pegasus Knight. It must be really, really slow Pegasus Knight, or really weighed down.
Like all the lances of the other Pegasus Knights. Like they're like that.
This is why in the GBA games you don't ever use a steel weapon.
Yeah.
Steel weapons are bad.
In GBA specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter if you use steel in, like, New Mystery or Awakening, because there's no weight system in that game. Those games. So you could just do it no problem.
True. Well, Fates, they have slight debuffs, but they are pretty powerful. And Tellius,
they have attack speed debuffs, that's it.
Yeah, but Tellius, they're pretty good, because they have, like, the steel Great Lance and the steel Poleaxe, and that thing is beautiful.
That's because, like, they have high strength. There's no... I mean, there is an independent constitution system, but it's not useful. It's not used for anything, unlike in FV6 through 8.
Yeah.
I have never played any of the Tellius games.
Well, they're difficult to come by, so that a lot of people haven't played them, but they are definitely some of the best.
There are really some rare game, like, I bet I could get a copy of Radiant Historia for cheaper than I can get a copy of Path of Radiance or Radiant Dawn.
Well, Path of Radiance especially. Radiant Dawn is expensive, but Path of Radiance takes the cake. I mean, I was lucky to get it really cheap, Radiant Dawn.
Like, Radiant Dawn is about $20 more expensive than a AAA game today.
Yeah, true. Well, Fire Emblem games... thing with Fire Emblem games, they don't get cheaper, they just get more expensive.
Yeah.
This is why I'm hoping that by the time I get a Switch, that Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn will be on the Switch's Virtual Console eShop.
I hope
Because
so.
otherwise, I'm
because-
not getting those games.
Let's hope.
Yeah, I hope so, because it will finally give people a chance to actually play them. Osmond, fuck your Lance Reaver.
I want to like play those games so badly. I like every time I hear about them on like Blazing Knight's channel or any other like Fire Emblem channel just in general, I always just like I want to play this game so bad.
Osmond actually hit a guy with a Lance Reaver.
Yeah, again, he's like, fuck your Lance Reaver. I'm Oswin. I don't give a shit.
Oh, I'm Oswin.
It's the same with Hector. It's like, fuck you, I'm Hector.
Every time I hear you say that, I keep thinking back to like that part in Warriors where two Pegasus Knights come up behind Xander and he just swats them away like, what the fuck's
It's
a weapon
fuck
triangle,
you, I'm
bitch?
Xander. I know, I love that bit so much. It's just like, no, fuck off. I'm Xander. I don't care if you have weapon advantage. I'm Xander.
Oh my gosh, I love those I fuck you moments from other characters. Oh my gosh, I remember I was like I remember like watching One Punch Man and then me and my friends would just like made like memes of him the whole time, just like fuck you, I'm One Punch Man, and then he just punches everything out of oblivion.
Yeah, that's the running gag of the series. It's just a big fat fuck you, bang.
Friends actually asked me, would I rather be One Punch Man or the One Look Man, which is Itachi, and I'm like One Look Man, no contest.
But
Here's the thing.
Yeah, please.
Itachi has a lot more character to him than Saitama does, like by a long shot. And he's actually kind of tragic because he did this terrible thing and everyone thinks he's evil when you realize that he's actually preventing ninja
Just Civil War.
Yeah. Because
What do you want to say?
who knows what could have happened if Clan Uchiha would have risen again.
But I was gonna say, going back to the Telius thing, yeah, it is upsetting that so few people have access to them because they are definitely some of the higher farming games. I mean, Radiant Dawn, though, has a lot of problems, but Path of Radiance is a game I think every Fire Emblem fan should play. It's just absolutely fantastic, and I hope they do digitally distribute it, just because I think it deserves it, especially with considering how popular Fire Emblem is now. People will be down for playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
every
only
time
Fire
I-
Emblem games I haven't played were 4 or 5 in Telius.
Yeah, because like every time I see like anything about the Telia series come up on your channel, I'm like, I love your channel so much and I want to watch this, but I don't want to hear about Telius.
Yeah, don't want to be spoiled.
No spoilers. Stop talking about the Blazing Knight. I want to experience his awesomeness myself.
Do you mean the Black Knight?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm embarrassed. I'm going.
I got the two mixed up.
I'm going in my
Yeah.
corner. I'm going in my corner. Don't look at me.
Shame.
Yeah. Yeah, well, one thing I would kind of hope for is that, like, if they did decide to release it on the eShop, is that one thing I would definitely like is if they would, like, if instead of doing it like regular PAL and North American versions, that they actually basically put the translation on the Japanese version.
Oh, so
and give us
a proper translation.
normal,
not like,
hard, and maniac.
Yeah, normal,
Yeah,
hard,
if they made
lunatic,
normal,
not
hard, and
easy, normal,
maniac
hard.
instead of. Yeah, well, that's enough. If they released Radiant Dawn, I would wish that they would change the names back too, so that people wouldn't be deceived like they were last time.
Yeah, especially because the standard difficulty for Awakening and Fates is hard. That's basically the normal mode. So people go into Radiant Dawn thinking hard. Oh, this is the normal mode. It's like no.
No. It's basically like play. It's basically like playing FE1 and FE4 at the same time.
Well, Radiant Dawn, it's already a hard game by nature. Well, part 1 specifically. But it's just, hard mode just makes it that, weapon triangle's no longer a thing. And if a unit has, like, if there was a unit who wasn't very good in normal or, easy mode, just don't even bother.
They're useless.
Yeah, because
Well,
Radiant
yeah.
Dawn's character balancing is
That's the
arguably
similarities. that is where the similarities to FE1 lie, because characters you wouldn't use in FE1, you're not going to use. You're not going to just use them at all.
Yeah, it doesn't help that Radiant Dawn's general unit balancing is dreadful, so that just drives the point home. Binding Blade kind of has the same problem, where certain units are literally unusable on hard mode, because of how bad the balancing is. Okay, we're going to break here, and when we come back we're going to finish up this part, take out the rest of the Black Fang users, and also get another co-commentator on board in the form of a dog. But until then, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.